Ever wish there was a way to exercise and enjoy the great outdoors at the same time? What about doing it for relatively cheap? Hello, my name is Kyle Palmer, and I'm here to discuss camping and hiking and why you should take it up as a hobby. I will be talking about how great the health benefits for hiking and camping are, how it can be relatively cheap, and how beautiful the great outdoors are. I've been camping and hiking since I was really little. My dad would always take me on these camping and hiking trips, so I have a decent amount of experience in it. First, I'll talk about the great health benefits. I'll start off with exercising, mostly for hiking rather than camping. For hiking, normally it's in the woods, up a dirt trail, and it's uphill for a long ways. Due to the incline, the uneven ground, and the distance it covers, it normally leads up to a really great workout. According to an article on HuffingtonPost.com, just an hour of trekking can burn up to 500 calories. And this here is just about how many calories you would burn depending on how much speed you would be walking, or depending on the speed you'd be walking. Next, let's talk about the air pollution, because air pollution is a problem in Atlanta. So going up to the North Georgia mountains, for example, is a great way to get a lot of fresh air. And some of the effects that air pollution has, it can, for the short-term effects, it can cause quite a bit. It can cause diminished lung function and cause asthma problems. And in the long term, it can cause birth defects and even cancer. So getting outside and camping for a little bit can really help. Next, I will talk about the beauty of nature. The beauty of nature is astounding. I know one of the best things was laying in my hammock up in the North Georgia mountains and just looking up at the skies and seeing all those beautiful stars and constellations that I never really got to see because I came from a relatively big city. So just looking up and enjoying those beautiful, beautiful stars are amazing. And one thing is being up there, there's no cars, no cell phones, just nature. It's really relaxing, and a lot of people will immediately jump to not wanting to go because of the fact that there's no cell phone service. But just to give you an example, according to an article on businessweek.com, we spend about 40 minutes a day on Facebook alone. Facebook, and nobody ever uses Facebook anymore. So just with the lack of cell phone service, it really causes you to pay attention to how beautiful nature is, and it can be really relaxing. Lastly, I'd like to talk about how expensive or cheap it can be to go camping and hiking. Camping and hiking can be really expensive if you go all out in it. Camping especially. So let's start with camping. This here is a tent that I found on the Dick's website for just $30. It is a two-person tent. That means it has quite a bit of room if you go alone, or if you go, you can bring a person as well. So it can be relatively cheap if you just do a little bit of research. All it took was a quick Google search, and I found that. Next, we'll talk about hiking in regards to how cheap it can be. It can also be very expensive, but it all depends on where you want to go, how far you want to walk, and when you want to do it. I know in my personal experience, one hike that I went on, all I took was my backpack, some waters in my backpack, and the clothes on my back. It was about a 5-mile hike, so it wasn't the longest thing ever, but it didn't cost me more than about $20. So, to conclude, I talked about how great the health benefits for hiking and camping are. I talked about how cheap it can be, and I talked about how beautiful nature is and how relaxing it can be. So, go outside today and enjoy the great outdoors. Your wallet and body will thank you. Thank you.